I will call the September 16th, 2025 Lowell Light Power Board meeting to order. And Charlie, you do roll call.
Chairperson Beecham.
Here.
Vice Chair Farnger.
Here.
Board Member Pedwaller.
Here.
Board Member Strouben.
Here.
And Board Member Crawford.
Here.
Hey, I'm assuming we've got change in the agenda.
Yes, I'd like to, unless there's any objections, I'd like to add action item B, consideration of purchase of a digger dare, Outage digger dare.
Okay,
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
And supported.
okay, it's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. August 4th. Special call meeting, City Council Parks and Recreation. So I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve those minutes.
And it's supported.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The August 12th, 2015 regular board meeting.
Oh, shoot. No, that's 2025. You read it 100% right, but it is,
2025.
those are not 10 years old. They are. That's on me.
Motion to approve the August 12th,
He's reading it.
2025 board meetings minutes.
Way to approve it, not cash it.
If that's supported too.
Okay. It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Safety moment.
All right, gonna hand this one over to Megan.
All right, September is National Preparedness Month. In case you did not know that. So just a couple things here to make sure you are prepared for really anything, but mostly, natural disasters, kind of things like that. So just a couple quick things, have some emergency contacts. This one says out-of-state contacts, which is interesting. I never really thought about that, but build an emergency kit, food, water, medication, everything you would need in an event of emergency. Make an evacuation plan, address any special needs that you have, stay informed, local weather, radio, news broadcast, things like that. Make sure you pay attention, and then most importantly, practice it, review it. You don't really think about doing that at home, but probably good. We do it at work. We just had a fire drill at work last week.
Everybody made it out okay.
Sure did. So just a good reminder to, do the same thing at home as well. So, yeah, sure you are prepared in the event of an emergency.
Thank you, Megan.
A public comment. There's really no public here. So we'll move on to action items.
So the first action item is the MPPA. This is a mouthful. So the MPPA Retail Energy Improvement Program Project Participation Agreement consideration. I boil it down quite a bit. It's boiled down. Some of the language is just called, the REIPP. The REIP is kind of what it's being shortened to. But essentially, as a little background, the board's aware, the EWR, energy waste reduction legislation, was amended in late 2023. It reinstated the requirement for municipal utilities to participate, and it changed a handful of other things. Some of those details are included in the other information. But back in June, the board ultimately, really had their decision point. There's kind of three options for compliance with the program. You can either do it in-house, you can do it in a partnership, or you can do it with the state program. Doing it strictly in-house isn't necessarily an option for us based on our staffing levels and the requirements associated with compliance. So it really left Light and Power with two options: either participate in the MPPA program or participate in the state's program. And in June, based on a variety of factors, cost being one of them, the board opted to not participate in the state program. As a reminder, the state's program was a 2-year commitment, and at the time, it still is, but the MPPA program is a 4-year commitment. But following those decision points, MPPA entered into an agreement with Franklin Energy for the development and implementation of EWR plans. And included in that, MPPA also established a project. A project at MPPA is essentially just a cost center for any specific activities outside of general A&G. So used to be called service committees, but everything is a project. So Campbell is a project, Bell River is a project, Clean Energy is a project. So MPPA established a project called the Retail Energy Improvement Program Project. And that's ultimately where MPPA is housing the agreement with Franklin Energy. So included in the board packet is the entire agreement. Included in the agreement, specifically in Exhibit B, is our financial commitments or a maximum financial commitment. There is a lot of things that are factored into that, including the incentives and their administrative costs associated with administrating the program. But these are just our commitments to Franklin. There will be other self-implemented programs. There will be some MPPA administrative costs. There's evaluation costs. There's our admin costs, and then obviously our internally ran program. So this is not our end all be all expense for EWR. It's just the portion that we're going to hand over to Franklin Energy. One thing that I'll make a note in the actual implementation cost, you'll notice year 1, the costs are higher, and then it's reduced, and then there's an escalator from there. That's because a lot of Franklin's startup costs are in that first year, which is also given some flexibility in subsequent years because they're recovering their costs kind of up front instead of assuming that the wall is going to be around for 4 years. I think there's going to start to be a little more appetite to reevaluate some of the energy package, but that's just an opinion. Happy to answer any questions, but I guess the other thing of note is that first bullet point, the Light and Power Board will be required to approve an actual EWR plan. The EWR plan will lay out each individual program, kilowatt hour savings goals, budgets, kind of all the nuts and bolts of everything. And we're targeting either October or November for that. It has to be submitted to MPPA, so MPPA can submit to the MPSC before the December 31st deadline this year. So the thought was today is just really formalizing a decision that was made in June when we decided not to participate in the state's program. And then Lisa will be attending, I said, either the October or November board meeting to present the actual EWR plan and answer any questions, just kind of give an overview of what programs are included. Again, there's some additional information there, but happy to answer any questions. But it is staff recommendation to approve the Retail Energy Improvement Program Project Participation Agreement as presented.
Is that REAP-PP?
REAP. REAP. Yeah, it's a mouthful. I think it's just going to be called REAP. It's all said and done. But the REAP.
Okay. Any questions?
I mean, yeah, we've had a lot of discussion about this, so it's like, what we're getting into, so.
I was going to say, that's my goal, is not to have any surprises. We've talked about this for on and off for over a year at this point. It's not a surprise. Some of the nuts and bolts are things that staff's still working on, but yeah, the goal is that none of this is a shock to the system or a giant surprise.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the agreement as presented.
Come on.
We were all thinking the same thing, Daniel.
Another right there.
And do we have support?
Supported.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
All right, for action item B, I'm going to hand this over to Zach, actually. He's done all the legwork on this.
So we've been looking into replacing our truck. It's a 2004 bigger truck, so it's over 21 years old roughly. It's operating good, although it's going to be coming up for some maintenance stuff. And starting this one time, it's at 21 years old. After evaluating all the options, we decided to go with the LTEC DH50E, which is a different brand of truck than ours. However, it is LTEC's version of the Tarek that we have. And it's like within a couple pounds difference, very, very minor differences. We also looked at going into bigger trucks and smaller trucks. However, with the size of our transformers and the weight that we need them to pick, we went smaller, we would have cranes coming in all the time. If we went bigger, we can't set up to get into those places that we need to be small. So this is kind of the opportune size that we have. Cool thing about this truck is it has a remote control operation, so we do not have to be sitting on there. I believe last winter we had some pictures in the board packet of the guys using it over on Jackson Street, where they were standing over top of the hole, running the winch so that they could get a bird's eye view instead of sitting up on the turret and not be able to see what's going on. That's going to be a game changer with setting poles and a bunch of other things to be able to have an extra hand available. The chassis is an international chassis. LTEC boom, it's 50-foot boom. The cost of it is $425,888, and that is my deal pricing, which is competitively bid through the state, and then they tell LTEC what price is going to be. The lead time's roughly 2 years. We will be adding lights and some strobe lights to the truck. Once we get it, it just saves a ton of money to have us do it rather than pay the factory to put those on. Another reason we went with LTEC over Tarek. Tarek does not have a location in Michigan that is a service center. And they do not have any service techs in Michigan. They contract everything out. LTEC has a facility in Howell that has 12 full-time mechanics there. And then they have a complete fleet of mobile mechanics that will come anywhere to the state. And then if it needs to be like a full engine rehaul, okay, we got to send it to Howell. But that's another one of the reasons we decided to go with LTEC. And it also keeps continuity between our bucket trucks and our digger trucks, all being an LTEC and one. So it is the staff's recommendation to approve the purchase of the LTEC DH50E for the quoted price of $425,888, subject to the price adjustment detailed in the quote.
And the price adjustment is in that chassis, for the most part. They won't guarantee OEM pricing outside of what they have guaranteed. And my only piece of this is from the financial side of things more than anything. I know Zach's done all the due diligence on the truck and getting the guys' feedback, but Megan and I actually reviewed the equipment replacement plan today. We knew it was in there. We updated it a little bit just to see how things are going to flow. And
That bad.
I was going to say, is that bad? Oh,
That happens.
it seems bad. As I needed to say something, clearly wasn't all that important. What I was trying to say is money will be there when the truck's there. We've got 2 years to plan for it. We've been planning for it for probably 6 years now. So from an equipment replacement fund standpoint, it's in a healthy position. If it came in a fiscal year early, we'd still be in good shape. Might have to pull a small amount from cash reserves, but it would just reduce the capital contribution in the subsequent year. So it's just a matter of, we don't think it's going to come in FY27. We think it's going to come in FY28. potentially even calendar year 28 at this point. So not concerned with it, as far as from a financial planning perspective.
Yes.
Is there a down payment you gotta put down, sir? Nothing, huh?
Do one delivery.
Okay,
They know that if we don't want it, they'll slap a premium on an immediately available truck. And they'll sell it for more. That's how we ended up getting we didn't pay more, but that's how we got our 55-foot bucket truck. Is somebody else backed out of the deal and they immediately,
Somebody wrote out.
yeah,
Still had their sticker in the window.
exactly. But happy to answer questions, happy to make Zach available to answer any questions. He's got the technical end of things, but
I see he has his all tech hat on.
Yeah.
I don't see any tariffs hats around here, so I know what the deal, I know what changed.
okay, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the purchase of the Alltech DH50E for the quoted price of $425,888, subject to price adjustments detailed in the quote.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. I have one question for you, Zach.
Yeah.
And in the future, so we've got a new bucket truck, relatively new service bucket truck, the digger, we're making the purchase of the digger truck. What other equipment is there out there that you think low light and power needs, if any? Or is it just gonna be, in the next few years, is it just gonna be replacements of our pickup trucks type deal, or?
Yeah, I think it's probably more replacements of stuff we have, possibly, the mini X in the next year or two is probably needed. The potential to upgrade our skid steer, and possibly upgrade that to be a bigger size to do some other stuff with it as well. Other than that, I think renting a lot of our is gonna be a cheaper route to go. We'll be able to rent for 30 years almost on some of the cost of some of this equipment. So I think for the 2 to possibly 3 weeks a year we need it, I think renting the major excavators and all the niche stuff, it'd be a lot better just to rent those. And maintenance standpoint, we don't have to maintenance them. That's the big one.
Right.
But definitely, I think those two, and possibly some more attachments for the skid steer.
Okay. Moving on, informational items.
we'll try to make this one through this one without choking. So we'll start with performance data. It's been a hot summer. We're seeing that in sales. I think it's interesting that we're pausing, Megan, on industrial sales. You see, we've said this for a couple years that these services are less susceptible to weather. It's not as much air conditioning load. It's not as much chiller load. It's a lot of motor load. So the big jumps are the growth that we knew, the expansion at our large industrial facilities. But if you look at the commercial, which is the next one, and the residential, you can see that, especially on the residential, that hot weather really impacts the volumetric sales there. Casey and I have had some very interesting conversations about ultimately what that heat wave, how it impacts us over the course of the year, whether it's in our load factor or some other things that we look at fairly closely. But it's interesting if you look from a percentage basis, that jump from last year, that's not new homes, that's more volume going through homes. So, over the course of a really hot month, you start more air conditioners run at the same time. You don't have the same diversity that you do when you have a mild summer, where your air conditioner may be on and it goes off, and then yours comes on with minimal overlap. You get longer periods of heat waves, your air conditioner runs more. Laws of average say that if they're running more, everybody's running more, they're more likely to run at the same time. So But something Casey and I are watching closely is how the relationship between that volumetric sales and our peak demand, and kind of what's organic load growth versus what is weather susceptible load growth. Not really anything for the board right now. It's just an awareness that these are some things that we're looking at and evaluating. I think we might get to the end of the year and say there's nothing to garner from it, but I'd also be surprised. More than anything, it's just kind of let you in on some of the conversations and how we look at some of this data and start to unpack it.
I'll say that the Fonger household on Washington Street is taking advantage of the time of use billing. And we don't run the air conditioning between 11 a.m. or noon and 7 p.m. And the house, it varies. It goes up like 2 degrees, maybe 3 degrees on the hottest day.
You're taking advantage of that rate? I am not. It's costing me money. I have a house full of people and we run our air conditioner a lot during those on-peak hours.
Yeah.
So I'm glad, I mean, that's what it's there for, is the customers that are aware. So, you know, if you've got awareness, want to engage, it can do a lot for you. So I'd also say that our bills haven't been exorbitant by any means, and we are on the time of use, which your summer bills are going to be higher on time of use just because you have those peak pricing periods. So that's good to hear. Cost per kilowatt hour, I'll just hit on it. It's still elevated on average, and a lot of that's driven by the PCA. But before we get to the PCA chart, did want to just highlight on the cash and investments, that uptick in the black line and the dotted line, the 120 and 140 days of cash targets. That's a big jump from last year, largely related to power supply increases. And just our natural growth, but it's something that we continue to monitor, continue to watch. We want to definitely shoot for closer to that 140 range. But realistically, the only dedicated funds in there, the only true, well, these are all unrestricted funds, but kind of the only immediately pledged money, I guess, is that very top line, and that's our bond payments. And you see the big hit that we take every year in July, but that top purple line grows throughout the year, and then there's a payment made out in July. So we can count that purple line towards our cash at the time of audit or at the end of the fiscal year. But realistically, all of the dashed money is committed or pledged in some way or another. Some of those commitments are years out, like the digger truck, but we want to make sure that we keep a healthy balance in that equipment replacement fund. So, yeah, just wanted to draw attention to that increase in what constitutes 120 and 140 days of cash. And then if there's no questions, I'll go down to PCA just to highlight that PCA is elevated. It's something that we are hearing from our customers some. I was asked by a city council member when I did a city council presentation, just some of those different impacts on the bills, and the vast majority of the bill impacts are linked to the PCA, which again is just a pass through. It's a rolling 6-month average of our power supply netted against our base power costs. Any questions on performance data? All right, so we've got 2 months in the income statement. Again, another healthy month, which is not to be, it's to be expected at this point. Not a surprise by any means, with it being a summer month and how hot it is. PCA revenue is definitely elevated, but that's a makeup of previous expenses, basically. Other than that, last month I reported that the distribution expenses were trending. Initially reported that they were significantly over budget, but you're already seeing those get brought down a little bit more in line with budget. But that's just a 2-month thing, not a 6-month, 8-month, or a concerning trend for the year. Any questions on income statement? And sales revenues trending well, purchase power expenses online. Those are the two things that I look at closely because the rest of the expenses are for the most part known expenses and they're just gonna layer in when they layer in, but it's not gonna be perfectly linear by any means. All right, so we will go,
Kind of skip.
I skipped something, but there's nothing to talk about. We'll talk about it. That's twice now, I forgot. Yeah, so item B is monthly outage report. Zach, can you run through our outages from last month?
Last month we had none. However, the first couple days of September, we did have a outage on 202, which was the high school's 19 minutes. Tree fell down and just got two wires together and we cleared it off really quick and got high school back on and everybody else back on as soon as possible.
Yeah. Thanks. Almost forgot. Definitely wanted to hit up that, had a breaker outage. 19-minute breaker outage is really awesome.
Yeah.
Response. A lot of conversations can happen in 19 minutes too.
Yeah.
You can tell our customers, I talked to Perry, appreciate the heads up. A lot of good conversations and it needs to happen when the school's out. Obviously I ended up, I know Zach talked with the director of facilities. I talked with the superintendent. But yeah, by the time we were able to answer, I was gonna say, by the time we were able to answer questions, the power was on for a lot of people. So 19 minutes is a quick response. Kind of interesting. My neighbor texted and said, we've never been out. And he's now at my house, first outage I've experienced in 4 years at my house, I believe. I think it might be the first time the lights have even blinked at my house. He thought it was gonna be an incredibly stressful situation to have that many people out. It could have been, but the guys do a fantastic job. Zach and I were in a meeting.
530 some people.
Is that what it was?
Roughly around that.
Zach and I were in a meeting and he said, I've gotta go. And he went. And that's how everybody did that. So awesome response by the guys. Definitely wanna highlight that
Where was
response.
it located again?
It was, so the outage was everything, basically everything west of Alden Nash.
Okay.
And up Alden Nash.
Past G Drive.
Yeah, past G Drive, up Alden Nash, so Harvest Meadows, Stony Bluff, Whispering Hills, Subway, Bobby Sue's, that whole, all the way up to the high school. Yeah, I don't know, well,
No, Foods comes before.
it does come in from back. Yeah.
So with that, I just want to mention, because I've said something to Charlie. So if you've been reading the Grand Rapids Press or on the news, you're gonna see or would have seen Michigan was rated, because they're including Puerto Rico, Michigan was rated number 51 out of 51, dead last in response and getting power back up and running. And it really upsets me because they don't, in these articles, they never talk about Michigan Municipal Electric Association or our members. And, you know, we're the highest, we're a diamond rated, RP3. And it just, you know,
It's, the volume of the investor-owned utilities that really probably drag that number down.
So anyway, great job, Lowell Light and Power, and great job to the Michigan Municipal Electric, because we're not alone in this battle. So,
Any luck, we'll get to like 50 or 49, 19-minute outages. You're gonna get us there. We'll bring the state up. We'll get it.
It'll come with a price tag for those customers. All right, moving on to capital projects. Not much to report here. I guess the only thing I'll highlight is you're starting to see some accumulation of some expenses in the capital projects. To be expected, Zach's got a lot of irons in the fire right now, and kind of a lot of prep work. is being laid out just to stage work throughout the rest of the year. A ton of work been done. You'll see some, Zach will touch on it in his report a little bit, but made tremendous progress on the east side, getting the Lafayette step down transformer out of service. There's been some work done, some foundational work for Little G Drive, getting the easements ready, continue to make equipment replacement fund contributions, started to work to serve the from housing developments. Again, you can see the list. It's just a lot of progress is being made, a lot of just prep work setting up the rest of the year. So those numbers will continue to pick up, but really laying a good foundation through this first quarter. Any questions on capital projects? All right, I'll hand it over to Zach for the distribution report.
So I'm not gonna say stand on my report today.
Thank you. Because my iPad didn't work.
Okay, so Greenville voltage conversion project, the actual voltage conversion is 100% complete. We still have some removal of some old poles and services to houses that go in other places. The outage, we had, Portland there. Worked awesome with Portland again, great group of guys, worked really well together. The outage went extremely smoothly. We kind of were put into two buckets. One bucket was if you're past the step down, and one if you're before the step down. If you're past the step down, your outage was 1 hour and 20 minutes. Very quick outage for what we had to do in order to get to that. The rest were kind of put on in steps because each transformer you go to, you have to change the tap, change the cutout to door to a higher door, and then throw it in, test it, and then put your leads back in. Well, open it and then put your leads in, then test it, and throw it back in. So it was a process. We still had everybody in that second group besides the water tower on Shepherd's Hill and one house on Shepherd's Hill that was fed from the same pole as that. We're on in 2 hours and 25 minutes, I believe. 24 hours, wasn't it? No, 2 hours.
Oh, everybody but it.
Everybody but those were on in 2 hours and like 25 minutes. And then the last two were 4 hours and like 2 minutes. So it was an awesome outage. I think there was like 17 transformers total plus a bank. So there's a lot of work to do with that for a bit of time. The guys did a fantastic job. We worked together. It was just awesome project. And they got rid of the step down, which is
Long time coming.
yeah, that's 3 year project. So that's super awesome.
Is there any economical value on that transformer that's out of service, which you no longer need, or are you gonna keep it in our inventory?
We've got some other places that are gonna need some stuff and
Okay.
backups on site. Yeah, we're gonna keep it for now. Potentially in the future, we can get rid of it for sure. Any other questions on the Grindle?
Is that the first time we've said awesome outage? Two words don't usually associate. but-
Yeah.
Yeah, they better, yeah, the amount of prep work that goes into it, they should be. Things were lined up. I had the opportunity to ride shotgun with Zach during the morning and just say, engage with some customers, which that's the only part I'm helpful in those projects, is talking to customers and keeping me and the customers out of the way. But it really is awesome to watch the guys do what they do really well. The Portland guys were over. It was just a good day, and it was a big day. That's why I wanted to spend the time on the field with them. We've been working towards this for 3+ years. Close to $600,000 or $700,000 has been invested over there, I think. You might know better than me. I just looked at it for the audit, but I think it's about $600,000 or $700,000 so far that's been invested, not including what we put in this year. So by the time it's all said and done, we'll have over $1 million probably into rebuilding the lines over on the east side of town. Our customers enjoy hearing that, because that's their return on investment. That's Nobody's getting paid dividends or anything else. We take their customer money and we reinvest it in them. And that's a monumental
And
accomplishment.
things look so much better too. Just, and there are, I'm just gonna say that things look so much better.
That's appreciated. The noticing is definitely appreciated.
You were talking about not having an outage in a while. My younger son, we found out there was an outage. It's like, oh man, I'm gonna be at school. I'm gonna miss it. Because he never gets to see an outage.
We're gonna try to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Do our best. Yeah. And honestly, where you guys are moving to, it's all, it's underground.
Right.
At least on that stretch. I mean, there could be something that it's got to get to the underground portion, but.
Yeah, you should be pretty good at everything.
Yeah, we're gonna hope that, I'll say,
There's
I'll just tell them,
like 2 spans down from where yours goes underground, so.
yeah,
Pretty protected.
I feel good about, the current state. It's not to say there's not more work to do.
Yeah.
You go over there and you look around for 10 minutes, you'll see work that needs done. But it's also important to remember where we were at 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when that side of town had, 50 more poles that needed changed out than right now. Only had a single source, a single feed coming under the Platte River. So to have the redundant feed going under the Grand, to have the single point of failure, and the Lafayette step down gone. It's a really big day. It was a really big day last Thursday to get that thing out of service. So.
Does Portland work on the same voltage as us?
I have no clue what.
I think a lot of their system is straight 4160.
They're going through the process of transferring over to I don't know if it's 72 or 76.
I think it's 72.
Okay, so they're in that process. So Portland's all underground as well. So I think there's like a mile or two of overhead they have, like it's 99% underground. Underground conversions with, underground voltage conversions are way harder than overhead voltage conversions. There's a lot more to it. So usually you're replacing basements. There's a lot more to it, but we're going to be asked to go over and help them as well for their voltage conversion.
Just extra hands makes it.
Yeah, exactly. Just extra hands for the outage.
And it's good training, good exposure.
Yeah.
And it's good partnership.
Yeah.
We count on, Portland's the closest utility to us. We do safety with them. We're very close with their guys. The guys we know really well. Todd, their manager over there, is a great guy. So we've seen a lot of opportunities to help each other. Again, whether that's in safety, whether that's in line work. So we're looking to continue just to build this reciprocal agreement between us where we help each other out on these bigger projects. Portland comes over and they don't have a pole yard, so they come and train some over here. So again, it's something that we hope we don't need to call on them in an emergency, but if we have a mutual aid event and they're all underground and they're solid, they're familiar with our system, they're familiar with our guys, they know feeds, they're a little more comfortable here than any other utility is gonna be. And we see that as a big win. We're obviously happy to invite other utilities in as well, but to know that our closest utility has a higher degree of familiarity of our system and our guys and how we do things. Just an added layer of insurance when something does happen, because something will happen. We don't get the luxury of avoiding every storm.
Yeah.
So,
ultra capacitors, I'm gonna end up going through every one of mine.
Yeah.
So, ultra capacitors, during the outage with the 202 outage, we had 70 more capacitors go bad. It's not that they went bad, they just showed us that they went bad. So one of the challenges with.
Do you have, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
Yeah.
I saw a meter there.
It's right.
Okay. Yeah, just to give you an idea of what this is, I had a conversation with Craig earlier in the week.
So, to change it, you gotta take this little piece off and then.
Whole fits.
We have to do that 70 times.
I had to put it like.
70 would be
A
nice.
lot easier.
The list right now. The list right now is 300.
Face off, and then you gotta pull this off and And this little guy here is actually our ultra capacitor that goes back.
It's a battery.
So when you did that planned outage, they all showed.
Yeah, so what happens is this guy only is needed when it loses power. It has roughly 20 minutes of battery life without trying to send the thing out. So it has literally enough power to send one message out that says, I'm in violation. And then that's all it does until it gets powered back up, then it charges. However, the ones that say they're bad no longer charge. So since they can't charge, the next time there's an outage, we don't get that last push of the email saying, hey, I'm out, come fix me. So that's why we need to change them out, we want that warning. We don't want to rely on the customer to say, pay that. But also, we don't want to rely on this either. We would like the customer to call us too. So it's kind of
You
fail safe.
get no indication of a low battery signal that battery has failed.
Not really.
But
That's not really a battery, it's a capacitor.
It's a
it's
capacitor.
a capacitor, but it's,
Okay, yeah,
Like, they don't hold charge of a low battery.
yeah,
correct.
yeah, so.
And when they're gone,
It functions similar to a short duration battery.
Yeah.
So
But
these so when we change these out, we pre-charge them in our bank here.
Mhm.
And then we take that and take this piece here and go out to the meter, talk to customer, take it apart, put this back in, put the top side in, let the meter come to life, register that it's back to life, pull it so that we get an outage email to make sure that it works, and then we push it back in. And then it'll send another email saying that it's out. It's a process. It's about 20 minutes, I would say, from the time you get here, get out there, talk to customer, run through it, and then get to the next one. And we can carry two of us at one time. Like if we come here, grab two, go do one, hopefully do the next door neighbor or wherever the next closest one is to them so that we can do two at a time. But it's a process. It's an easy process. Just takes really time consuming. And there's like, what, 200 and
I think it was 300 3 something. I don't remember the next number.
yeah, over 300.
How many?
That have
How many
people
have
charge us.
So
You
is
can't
this,
do the charger with you. and then-
It takes like 25, 30 minutes for it to charge. So it's kind of, it's a tough situation. We've looked at a bunch of taking the service truck around with the charger and doing it. And it's like, it's just not.
I can tell you, we have explored every option, including building a trailer with a generator on it, with meter bases. I mean, we've explored, they've explored a lot of options.
Yeah.
There is no good way to do it. It's a safety hazard. It's not. Normally, when you have this repetitive work like this, you look to hire a summer help or something like that. We're not getting summer help in a meter base. So it's just something that you have to have qualified personnel do. It's system maintenance. It's going to be forever maintenance. And I, my own 2 cents, I think it was a surprise to the manufacturer that they were this problematic, because the alarm that tells us, you tell me if I'm wrong, Casey, but the alarm was not an original alarm. You were talking with somebody from Sturgis, I thought, and they said, oh, there's a new alarm for bad ultra capacitors.
Yeah.
But it was not a standard when we bought it. There wasn't an alarm or an alarm point to trigger to report bad ultra capacitors. So it's just a challenge of the system. Like Zach said, we don't want to rely on any single method for knowing when customers are out. For one, while we were doing the outage last Thursday, an electrician decided to pull a meter. They were not going to, my opinion, they were not going to get the service inspected. They were hoping to do it, fly under the radar, and never tell anybody until we happen to go back to the meter and see that there's a cut seal and know that somebody was in there. Zach and I had the opportunity to educate this electrician and let them know that that's not an appropriate way of doing things. And, you know, so it caught that, it potentially protection of the end use customer, because now we wouldn't hook that service back. Zach took the meter. It's our meter. We took it, blanked off the meter base to make the site safe, because when we showed up, there was an energized meter base with a piece of cardboard over it. Not appropriate either, but because we pulled the meter, it was not or there's work being done, it wasn't an emergency condition, the service needed inspected before we'd re-energize it. So again, not everything's caught under any single methodology you're counting on. So we really want these ultra capacitors to proactively notify us. It's one of the benefits of an RF mesh system is you have that constant two-way communication.
So can these get that ability to let you know that the capacitor is low?
Just when they go back. It only triggers the alarm when it fails to charge. So it has to discharge in an outage, get plugged back in, or, then power comes back. And then when the message fails to go out the next time, it also triggers the bad ultra capacitor alarm. But there's no proactive alarm. It's a reactive alarm. From
So you do, essentially get a notification,
Is
but you have to have
what is
notice.
it? The Greenbelt voltage conversion, we got 0
Oh,
bad ultra capacitors there now. So that was a massive win for the ultra capacitors.
so the other thing is we're very strategic in as well. If 10 went bad in a bank at an apartment complex with 50, those are really low priority. The odds of an electrician pulling one of those meters is highly unlikely anyways. They all have external disconnects anyway, so the electrician's just gonna flip the disconnect to do anything inside of the unit itself. So they're not gonna be single customer outages, but when you get south of town and you've got a tap, we did, Casey and Ryan talked about the fuse coordination that we did south of town last year. There's a lot of new fuses added. There's a lot more opportunities for single customer outages down there. And whenever you get a single customer outage or that potential, you really want to make sure that you're getting that notification. If they're not home or they're just at work, we don't want to have the opportunity to roll a truck in the middle of the day and make an outage a half-hour outage. That's obviously the preference over waiting till customer gets home at 5 o'clock, realizing they don't have power, go through a whole rigmarole of calling it in, the answering service calling our guys, us roll a truck, paying overtime to do it. So it's just, there's a lot of benefits in having these capacitors functioning at top point.
There's no way to test them either. Like you can't send them a false outage and see if they reply or something like that.
I'm gonna defer. I don't think so. I think the answer is no, but
the meter has to use that energy from the ultra capacitors. When it tries to use it, it's not there. Then it says it's bad. The only way to do that is to pull power.
Yeah, and then it has to be for like 20 minutes too, or that's when it's coming back up.
So once you pull it, it's on I think 15 or 16 minute window where it can take up to like 15 or 16 minutes to cycle through to send the bad one out because they ping in every 16 minutes.
So my question is, do we need to be proactive in our bills with a letter saying that anytime you have a power outage, please contact us? I mean, and the reason why I'm saying that is because at one time we were preaching about the new meters that as soon as you lose power, it automatically sends a verification to us. Or are we getting ahead of ourselves or creating more of a problem?
couple thoughts on that. So, not big on taking personal credit or anything like that, but when I got here 5 years ago, I immediately stopped all communications that said, don't call us. I said no, and we started encouraging customers to call us. So it is part of our welcome package. Customers are provided with phone numbers, all that. It's not been a problem. The customers who have gone out, I guess, I don't think that message got far wide, or recently enough for people not to call. I'm not aware, I'm gonna kind of look down the table. I'm not aware of customers that have sat out, assuming that we knew that they were out. We did have a customer during a big outage a couple years ago that just never called in. They had a bad altered capacitor. That was a tough situation. But I don't think that, I think our customers already, they know. Most of our customers came from another utility where they were used to having to make phone calls to notify of that frequent outages that plagued other utilities.
So see, kind of touched on the, we're strategic where we focus the replacement staff because like south of town, you may have, 1 meter on a single transformer. Where in town you may have 10 meters on a single transformer. So, the likelihood of having issues is increased south of town with just how scarce people are and kind of limiting those single points of failure.
But it is something that we do talk about, how do we make sure our customers are aware? And we do, we tell them, if you're not sure, don't, and I've told customers for 15 years, don't ever assume it's not a single person outage. And when I used to design lines and if I knew I was gonna put a customer on a fuse that's a tap by themselves, I would always tell them, there is a good chance that you're the only customer out if you go out. If any of these trees fall, you could potentially be the only customer out, and make sure you call. So, we do preach to customers, call. If you're not sure, call. It's what we got a lot of phone calls when 500 people were out, but you know what? Everybody on the team knows that when things like that happen, your plans change. Things are immediately reprioritized, and answering that phone's top priority. And they all do a fantastic job. We had some we uncovered some phone struggles, I think, that day. Some phones didn't fail over quick enough, because the other piece of that is Point Broadband's head-in is fed off of that circuit. So our Point Broadband circuit went down. So we lost internet connection at the office and had to fail over to our backup internet for our phone system right as all these crazy phone calls were coming in. So it was a good test of things. But again, everybody, if you want something to be proud of, the people and how they responded across the board. When you've got a 500 customer outage, it's all hands on deck and everybody played a piece. So couldn't be more happy with how things turned out.
All right. Tree trimming, we had KR Forestry on site with the forestry mulcher. He did a fantastic job. Got some areas that we were not able to get the last time, partially because of the snow and probably partially because he does this for a living. Did a fantastic job down Alden Nash. The transmission line by the high school, you can just drive in the bus pickup line and see that it is dramatically different. He ground that up very, very well. It looks fantastic out there. All down Alden Nash, both north and south of town he did. Pratt Lake, he got all of our system on Pratt Lake, pretty much, most of it, I should say, 36th to 28th Street. We got that stretch. A lot of that, to do that whole stretch, I think took us 3-4 weeks, and he did it in 2 days.
Wow.
And it looks nicer than when we did it. So, it does a fantastic job, and it just saves our backs and time. And with a budget year the way this year's capital project plan is, we're gonna need every ounce of time we have. So
Yes,
Just,
I'm pretty confident at the end of the year, I'll have the same, Zach and I had a conversation at the end of the year, last fiscal year, it's, boy, it'd be nice to have another day, but you never thought over the course of 8,760 hours in a year, when it gets down to it, that 8 hours, that 10 hours, that 20 hours can be the difference between getting something done you want to get done or not. So we're really focused this year on developing a plan, adjusting the plan, and when I say we, it's Zach. Zach's developed a plan, adjusting the plan, and really keeping busy. And I think come next June, we're gonna be really thankful to have an extra week or so. We're gonna wish we had another extra week.
It might be a month.
Yeah, it might be a month, but I can guarantee you, we won't look up and go, we should have just taken the time to do that ourselves. We'll be wishing for more time.
And they're not that expensive, right?
They're expensive.
It's expensive.
Okay.
Very expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive to hire the guy out to do it. It's really expensive to buy one, and it's really expensive to maintain it.
Right, no, I don't mean buying one, I meant just the service.
The service, yeah, it was not cheap. I don't remember what the
It
hourly
was
rate was.
15,000 for 2 weeks,
2
for
weeks,
9
yeah.
days, 9. Yeah, 90.
Right.
Saving lots of man hours.
Yeah, for me, it's the biggest thing is the opportunity cost.
Well, this guy's a professional. I don't want our men hurting their backs trying to do
Yeah.
it.
It's just,
Well, we used one on our family farm plan a couple of years ago. They're amazing.
yeah.
I mean, we've been trying to get rid of autumn olive there, and
What you said.
this thing just cleared out as much as it took us like 5 years to do.
Yeah,
And he was there for 2 days. And
Yeah.
geez.
Done.
they're pretty impressive. And the equipment that we have skilled operators. It's just when you rent a piece of equipment, you get a piece of equipment that nobody treated like they owned it.
Yeah.
Right.
When you hire a guy out, that's his livelihood. So he's gonna take, he brought nicer equipment than.
He took it home and maintenance every single night, replaced
Yeah.
teeth every night.
Yeah.
The one
same with the
we
guy we
rented, I think it broke down 3 times when we
We had
had
to
it.
bring a new unit out, give us an extra week or something.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and then it also had no teeth on it. It was just essentially rough course trauma.
Beat the heck out.
There was no teeth on that.
It was like taking instead of taking a
It was a
hatchet,
sledgehammer,
instead of
Yeah.
taking a hatchet to cut a log, it takes a hammer to cut a log.
Yeah, so,
And
but I just can't say enough awesomeness.
And it looks, in my opinion, it'll, not only for the service of the electric, but I also think it, like, again, I'm on the trails committee and along Alden Nash, where that's all been cleaned up along the trails, and I think it also, besides makes your life easier for low light and power, it also has a benefit to the community in other areas like the trails and everything. So, yeah, I think it looks great.
So with that being said, we are gonna cut some more trees along the transmission line going up the hill on Old Nash. You can see where the pork tree mulcher went around them. We're gonna cut all those back, which will also be nice, because there was many times that those bushes were about half of the trail. So now that'll get mowed for years. So,
Keep rolling.
new tree truck has been delivered. We're doing some minor upgrades to it. And that's about all we had for that.
In service officially yesterday.
Yeah, it's very good.
So forestry truck
Bravo.
is here.
And then the last thing I have is the James Street Highland Hill voltage. This is our next voltage conversion that we're doing. This is a big one as well for different reasons. This is primarily underground transformers that we're gonna be dealing with. So I believe there's 4 transformers that are overhead. That will be a very, very short half-hour, 30-minute outage. And then, there will be, I think, 7 or 8 transformers that are underground. That will be a very long outage. Time-wise, we haven't completely got that done yet, but it could potentially be an 8-hour outage. With underground, we do not energize any of it until everybody is clear and out of the way of all of it. So none of the underground gets turned on until all the underground work is done, just for safety reasons.
Where's that again?
Highland Hill, if you go up James Street
Oh,
on the right, and then go.
No,
Then they'll-
the,
It's a little
the
loopy.
one way around.
Yeah,
city manager lives up that way.
yeah, he will be off on James Street for the short outage.
Yeah.
It'll be part of the show.
Yeah, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that that work will probably take place the end of this month, probably early next month, potentially. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up.
You try to aim that like in the middle of the day?
Do what?
Do you try to aim it in like the middle of the day, like
Yeah, we started
9 a.m.?
We started 9 o'clock. We might move it a little sooner if we feel it's gonna take longer. It'll be, once we fully get everything laid out, we'll go through it, run through it, be like, this is gonna take this long, this is gonna take this long. Get an actual time that's gonna work the best towards everybody's schedule, and then we'll go ahead and door knockers the week before and say, hey, this is when the outage is gonna be, just so you know, it's affecting everybody in your neighborhood for the most part, and then, yeah, letting everybody know.
This would be a good project. This is gonna, the work that was done on Grendel has provided a secondary feed for James Street. So we don't have to convert all the way down East Main Street and then come up. James Street's fed down Main Street, or James Street's fed down East Main Street and then up north off of there and up James. We're gonna be able to feed south off of Grendel. So it's just a nice little snippet to grab. It'll hurry up and make the conversion on Main Street that much easier as well. So I want to bring that up, I want to highlight just how things are being staged. We're thinking today's projects are setting us up for tomorrow. Tomorrow's projects are setting us up for the next day. And then when you get a curveball in the mix, like, 17 unit housing development right in the middle of an old 4160 zone, you got options to feed you. So you end up, just having some options by getting these veins of the upgraded voltage through areas. And James Street's just a good example of setting ourselves up for success, because up till the Grendel project, there was no feed from Grendel down. They filled in a gap and made plans to backfeed in and get James Street fed. All right, that was it for you.
That's it.
All right. You're the star of the show. Casey.
Switch it up. Stand by my.
No problem.
And Megan.
I read that.
So, Megan,
I
so,
would say questions for Casey or Megan.
well, again, I haven't seen anything, because
I'll give you the broad stroke. Casey's very busy and so is the office.
so.
Yep.
My one question would be with the audit. Because Peter's, retired, and my question is everything going? My assumption, or everything when Peter was doing it, everything went really smooth. Are we still seeing the same with other people that are involved, still the same or better, or?
Yep, so technically now, Doug is kind of our partner, I guess, that kind of, has the final say, but, one of our auditors who was here this year and last year his name is Matt. And he, I think, briefly left, but before he used to, be at our place every year before. So he's familiar with us, he knows kind of our, process, and I mean, we prepare really well regardless, and we give them everything they need. So it was really smooth, just like years past. So.
Okay, I just was curious.
Yeah, you just sit around waiting for the random questions.
Yep.
They get a lot of the random questions, but I can tell this year things flowed pretty smooth from my seat. There seemed to be random questions, but there weren't follow-up questions. It was kind of well, what's this? Here it is. Cool. Thanks. We'll move on. But Matt presented to the board last year, and he's been a fixture, I would say, since I've been here, and for the most part.
Yeah, he's been around for a while, yeah.
So he's familiar.
Yep.
One thing I do want to bring attention to, just so the board has it kind of on their mind, is next year is our 130th anniversary as a company, our 130th birthday. So they started planning Power Fest for next year. It'll be a little bit bigger. The thought is we'd probably do that Power Fest every other year type of thing. So they started planning efforts for the 130. Should be actually, I believe I saw a Facebook post today that said today was our birthday. So Alyssa tracked down the actual day. So all right. Move on to the manager's report. Couple things. The MPPA is incredibly busy. I'm not going to go into too many details, but one thing I want to bring your attention to, because it'll potentially be a future board training, lots of discussion, is I've been a part of a small working group to evaluate demand response as a service or a project from MPPA's perspective. There are third-party aggregators that will essentially work with our end-use customers to identify loads that can be shed under emergency conditions. Don't want to get into the details. It's probably a bigger discussion. But the working group has concluded, and the working group's made a recommendation to MPPA to establish another project for demand response with this third-party aggregator. There is no obligation for Light Power to participate, but there will be an opportunity for the board to weigh in if we want to participate. My initial reaction, though, is to let's let it see how it works for the initial run, having a limited set of industrial customers. If there's not a good opportunity in there, then it's potentially not very fruitful for us. But again, we want to see how the program goes. Had a chance to meet with the third-party aggregator, a company called Voltus. They operate in all of the RTOs in the country, the regional transmission operators areas. But it's potentially a good program for us. It's a good program to start with. It is a good opportunity, but wanted to bring that to at least an awareness of that to the board. So when we dig in a little bit deeper, it's not the first time you've heard of it, I guess. From an MMEA perspective, getting ready to go to the fall general membership meeting here next week up in Muskegon. Craig's going to join us for the conference, and then there's a host of the leadership team and some staff that are going. Ryan Hanachek and Alyssa Kecker are both going to join us there. So excited to have it in a relatively close location, and excited to have our staff join. So when as the full membership, we approved the budget, and the proposed budget does include a 2.5% dues increase, which is obviously pretty modest, but looking to pretty much utilize the same strategy at MMEA as we use small incremental increases in dues to help avoid major increases. Want to bring, yeah, go ahead.
What we're gonna go to next.
Campbell.
Okay, can we go to safety update for a minute?
Yes.
So de-escalation, and the only reason some of this is because Mike Burns at the council meeting last night reported that his employees have been getting harassed. And I think, again, with the political climate here in the nation, I think people think they have the right to say anything and do anything. And so I just want to make sure that we are not, that Lowell Light Power is not experiencing anything like that.
We have grumpy customers here and there. Today was disconnect day, so that's never a day that makes people happy, but I would not, it hasn't got to my desk that we've seen an uptick in any sort of ill will towards us. But that doesn't diminish. We had a customer a couple years ago that put us in a very uncomfortable position. And one of our initiatives now we reported on is working with Secure Environment Consultants, SEC. They helped host that webinar with BHS, but we are looking kind of holistically at site security, personnel security, physical security, as much as we're looking at cybersecurity and other things like that. So From a site security perspective, it's a priority for sure. We're working with Green Beret, who's working with, he's our consultant through SEC, and part of the agreement we have with them is he's part of our, basically an internal safety team, to help us implement some of the recommendations that came out of the site assessments that we had SEC do last year. So we're excited to work with him, excited to make some more progress in that area. We've done a lot, but to have somebody who is truly an expert can help guide the most efficient ways to protect our employees. That's, you hope you never need it, but I guess I'm bringing it up to say it's a priority for us, and protecting our employees is top priority. And safety doesn't just mean line safety, doesn't mean generator safety, doesn't mean fire safety, and what you typically think of. It encompasses everything that could potentially be a threat. And unfortunately, the office staff, one of the biggest threats is the public, from a safety perspective. And just from customers coming in, they have welcome our customers into our office. So we welcome happy ones and unhappy ones. So yes, definitely a priority. Campbell 3, I included a copy of the emergency order just for light reading. It's exciting stuff. It's really not too heavy of a read, but it's no need to read it. I just thought if you were interested, the way that it's written compared to the first emergency order, the first emergency order was very much about the summer. The second emergency order is starting to paint the picture of not just a summer emergency, but a year-round, long duration emergency. Just my opinion. Don't take it to the bank because it's not worth a dime. But I get the impression that the Secretary Wright is posturing for the long-term continued operations at Campbell. Again, just my 2 cents. It's not even worth 2 cents, but I also don't think it takes an insider to read the two emergency orders and see a very different narrative between the two. So I only say that to bring up there's a ton of unknowns with it. We talked with MPPA. There's some challenges in trying to project what it's going to continue to cost. So you can only do a speculative analysis of what the impacts are going to be. Even doing a look back, there's a lot of moving parts with how we plan the bilateral purchases, bilateral agreements we entered into, the market prices at the time. There's just a lot of moving pieces to understand that total net impact of the continued operations. But yeah, it's something that I don't think is going to change anytime soon. You should have all received an email and a text from me about a survey from MPPA. Daniel, I know you said you wrapped it up, but MPPA we'd all greatly appreciate it if you could take the survey. It's a 5 to 10 minute survey. More just an awareness thing. We did have an all company meeting the Friday after the last board meeting. I thought it was a great use of a day. It's a Friday. It's only a 3 hours to the public. We didn't open, but in that 3 hours, every department head gave updates to the whole company as to what their strategic initiatives were, what the context was behind them. And it really, I hope it was a good opportunity to bring everybody together. It was a tear down the silos kind of day. Want to make sure that everybody in the office is aware of what capital projects we've got lined up. What's Casey working on with engineering? What Casey working on with generation and evaluating things? Capital projects are an extensive list. The office has a ton of things going on. So just to bring an awareness throughout the company of the various strategic initiatives, thought it was a real good use of the day. And it never hurts to have breakfast as well. So I think the Shade Crew cooked breakfast for us. Stephen Rowley cooked breakfast. I believe, I can't remember who cooked. Hillary's usually involved. Mark was involved. It was a team effort. Food's good group of people to spend the day with, and really good use of the day. Details on the blood drive have gone out. It is the Monday of Public Power Week. I didn't include the date, which I should have.
October 6th.
The 6th, yes. So because you're in participation. Yeah, fortunately, city council is gonna be on a road trip, field trip that day, so, limited, but
There's another activity happening on that prom that day, hard hat day to show up and view it too from 3 to something, so
but
we're not gonna make that one either.
we're gonna hope that sign up for it, come give blood if you can. Yeah, wanna fill the slots.
And how did that go out? Social media?
We're putting it all over the place.
Social media.
It's on social media, it's on the blood bank's website. You're gonna have to just tell me when you wanna give blood and I'll get you signed up. No, but I announced at the city council meetings, we're trying to hit, some various channels. It's tough to reach everybody, but I think, there's been some paper copies of the flyer handed out to businesses downtown. We've reached out to the city to try and share the information. So we're trying just to blast it out everywhere. If you know somewhere else to put it, let me know and we'll throw it out there as well. Because we're definitely not trying to limit it. It's let's get it out every which way we can. So you got ideas, we'll talk and we'll get it out there. So I definitely want to see this
So-
successful.
I'll have words
Yeah.
on it.
Want to give an update on the low income assistance program with Brom. That program starts October 1. There's been a ton of activity behind the scenes, just getting ready. In the office, they're getting all the required materials out. You'll see it in your October bill or the bill that goes, hits your mailbox in early October. There will be information on the program. The agreement with From essentially separates things and keeps us out of the actual programmatic side of things. So From will be making all the eligibility determinations, qualifying customers, determining appropriate award amounts, denials. We're gonna let them do what they do best. Our role in the project or the program is to kind of promote it, hit all the legal requirements, and then kind of more of a financial and administrative perspective. So excited to kick that off. It's going to be a good program. It's starting to get some attention from some local media. I would expect an article or two out there here and there. I think I've talked with Cliff about Lowell's First Look, and then I've talked with Justin T. Meyer from Lowell Ledger.
Seems like I've seen something already about it somewhere. Is it possible?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but the materials all look great. The program's going to be called Leo, Lowell Energy Outreach. So
From
From might have put something out there, but in the agreement, I thought it was kind of the only things that are not necessarily out of what things you wouldn't necessarily immediately expect is we agreed to, both sides agreed that we should have meetings quarterly, to just sit down and talk about the program, understand how it's going from their perspective, our perspective. I thought that was a great recommendation that came out from, just to make sure we have set touch points throughout the program year. And then the other pieces included, we really want to continue to promote the A+ program. The A+ program isn't going anywhere. It's only A+ is only made available for electric bills. But the idea is there's more flexibility behind the A+ funds, the Leo program, the Lowell Energy Outreach program. We have to follow the state requirements. It's 60% of state median income. If you make more than that, you don't qualify. So there's going to be people that need help that fall outside of those parameters. And that A+ fund is a great pool of money to help some of those customers as well. So everything is in place. The website has some information on it, which is a requirement of the law. The last thing we're going to do kind of before the program starts is just share a template, reporting template that we have to submit to MPSC, but all the pieces are lined up. From does have a responsibility under the agreement to make sure that they're collecting all the information that's necessary for us to submit final reports to the PSC at the end of the program year. But I think this is a great opportunity, and we've had long, great relationship with Brom, and this is just another opportunity to strengthen that partnership. Oh, cybersecurity training. If you haven't done your cybersecurity training, please knock it out. I know you hadn't got to yours. And then want to celebrate Jeremy's fifth work anniversary in August. And I think you're starting to see some of these faces that were the 1-2 years really get up in there, and that 5-year mark, you really hit your stride at. Jeremy's doing a great job, and excited to have 5 years under his belt here. And then we're into pictures. Touch a Truck was last month. That was a ton of fun. It was the library's first Touch a Truck event here. I think they did one at, and you got a very fitting hat on, Andrew. But really enjoyed that. I had a chance to get out there. It's always fun to see the kids. They love seeing the trucks. Really enjoyed it. Picture of the guys working out at prom, and you can actually, that picture, you can see just the size of that digger truck and how difficult it would be to get anything bigger. That thing sprawls out there. Those outriggers really get a wide base, so anything bigger would be a real challenge. And then here's the forestry mulcher pictures. Perfect. Looks phenomenal. And that is everything except for I think the next is the emergency order. And if you want, we can read that as a group. Nobody wanted to. So I thought we were going to do story time. That's all I had for you.
Okay, schedule meetings.
It froze.
Another one's.
Waited for the pictures, we're good.
Next regular is October 14th, board comment, Tina.
Bravo to the whole team. I didn't know that we had a outage until my manager was at my desk at Blue Cross Blue Shield. And she was having a meeting with other people from Detroit. And something pinged on her phone. She left that meeting because she laughed. She says, well, we know somebody that could give us an insight. So she came right on over. Yeah.
This person lives on one of our neighborhoods. Right?
Yeah. So she walked over, and so we found out pretty quickly that by the time that she was at my desk, well, she's got power now. So she walked back in, and that was her bragging tool. Yeah, there you go, low light power. So because she was asking how long do you think it was going to be out? So other than that. Megan, are you gonna be in the office Friday?
Yes.
I'll come in the morning to take care of my.
Overdue bills.
Overdue bill. No, but I have to do my compliance. So.
Yeah, you can do that.
Thanks a lot. Other than that, I'm out.
Me, on number 7, I think it was on the middle school robotics kicked off. So we've now been, had a week and a half in the workspace, and now have teams in there Monday through Friday because we have enough interest for a 4th team. So we have 4 teams now, and trying to get availability for everybody and having space in there. We found 3 is kind of crowded, so we got 2 at a time, Monday through Thursday, and 1 team on Friday. Yeah, so
That's so cool.
It's still very nice to have that space. And I'm sure Brian probably asked at some point, it's like, can we push the walls back farther?
I'm having some conversations with Brian. I think we're going to be able to shift some stuff over to our side. We're going to do the blood drive on the other side of the room. They've got some painting, some cleanup work. I think we're going to store a few more things for the robotics team over on that side. But yeah, it's crazy how fast that space got chewed up.
Yeah, and just how much interest we have.
Yes, it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, some of the kids lifted up the floor mat in our area that shows some of the grading in the tunnel under. They're like, "Where's that go?" or "What is it for?" And I was like, "Well, I can't tell you guys it's a secret."
Well said.
It was all the way to the other side of the room. You should have told them it goes to Easy Street.
But knowing that Pink Arrow is also coming up, it was interesting that, so our first team was red, we had black and white. What are we gonna pick the fourth one? So we picked pink, right? And at first it's like, well, I'm not sure kids are gonna like that, or the coach, so he's kind of asking the kids, "You guys okay being pink?" And they're like, "Of course, we're the Pink Arrows."
Awesome.
Yeah, so all the kids were like, "Why would we want to be silver when we can be pink?"
That's cool.
Yeah, because those are the two color choices, and they're like, "No, we want to be pink. We're the Pink Arrows." And as we were talking to other parents of, because cross country, tennis, and all that, we're trying to think maybe we need to get the school on board with making uniforms pink, just all the time, because it's so hard to find a red uniform in a sea of other red uniforms, because most schools are red or blue or green, or like nobody's pink. Let's just make our uniforms full-time pink, and we'll find everybody. But something to, when the Pink Arrow's coming, I just wanted to kind of plug that, the fact that pink is kind of becoming an identity for the school.
Yes, that's cool.
Yeah, even for the robotics team. So
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that they're growing that team.
Mhm.
It's been interesting being on our side of the wall, talking with them, watching the kids do what they do. I try to pop in just a couple times a year, just because I'm interested personally, but
yeah,
I'm glad they found a home, and I'm glad that they've seen the enthusiasm locally from the kids. So very, very cool.
yeah. And even a side benefit of just having the big door is nice, just to have open. The weather's nice, and just working like that, like since
The door's almost always open, at least early
Yeah.
in the year. I'm sure come to January, it's not gonna be
yeah,
open.
it's a little,
Uh,
a little more, but it's just
Yeah.
it makes the space feel even bigger just having that. So
Awesome.
I think I'd like to go see that sometime when you guys are in
Yeah.
there.
6:30 to 8:30,
6:30.
pretty much every day. I mean, yeah, Monday through Friday. I'm there
Really?
Monday, Wednesday.
Monday, Wednesday?
Yeah, that's when my team's there. Guess I have the white team.
Not the pink team?
No, that most of the white team was white team last year, so they're going to keep the same.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's very inspirational.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do if we need to.
Yeah.
We're out of colors, so we might just have to say we're on.
You shit.
Yes.
Jim.
I have two hats to wear tonight. The first one is I want to thank Charlie and Julie for coming to the Showboats board meeting last month. They wanted to come on over to talk about your celebration on the Showboat October 11th, giving away twice as many pumpkins as you did last year. So I will be there carnying on the sidewalk to get those kids and their parents in like I did last year. So I'm looking forward to that. The hat I'm going to wear next is for the city council. Last night, we really talked a lot about looking at accepting the master plan in the next 60 days. So for you guys being board members, it is a lengthy one of 184 pages. I would encourage you, I'd like to have you guys look at that with your expertise of sitting on boards. And sometimes I think boards have an insight of really what they're trying to do. So I'm encouraging you guys to look at that and give your input back to us in the city council. What does that look like? Charlie, you too, because it's not only about the city's master plan, but it also involves the townships outside it as well too, from what is that whole concept looks like too. So we did get some valuable information from township residents on what they would like to see as well too. What is that master plan from parks to arts to whatever? So all that information is in there. So I'd like that. If you got time to even look through a certain section that maybe you're interested in, do that, give us some opinion, and I would really appreciate that. So that's what I got.
Where'd you find that?
It will be online. I asked them last night at the meeting to go ahead and post the draft. We did get a letter from Andy today, that we have to do some things before that too. We're gonna have to have another open session once, if something has changed on that too. So that was lengthy reading. I just got that before I got here, but anyways, input is well needed. To go what that is. Yep.
Daniel,
Yeah, I guess it's nice to see things keep moving. Voltage conversion project, voltage capacitor replacement. And then, have like a large outage and it goes short, but also the office is getting hit up with phone calls and everything gets turned to the outage and then it's right back to business and things just keep moving forward. And you see like progress moving on lots of stuff in the audit and, having that in there is probably a little stressful. So, yeah, it's just good to keep seeing, all sorts of things. Casey working on the natural gas, things like that coming in, which appreciate always, it's always, even when it's bad news like an outage, it's always kind of good news on how we handle what we can do. Appreciate that.
Craig,
Happy 5th to Jeremy. Hopefully we'll see another 5 more. Met with Charlie, when was it, yesterday, day before yesterday, anyway, sometime in the recent past.
It was recent.
Yeah.
if it was the
Yesterday,
day before, that's Sunday, so I doubt it.
Don't worry.
Yeah, that, oh wow, it's Tuesday, yeah, okay,
Understand.
I'm oriented to time and place now. Yeah, it's just good to hear this, there's so much that's running like a well-oiled machine and, while there are challenges, those are being faced and, yeah, just really proud to hear all the work everybody's doing here. So thank you.
Okay. And I really don't have any. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.